Hello everyone. Before this video gets started, I just wanted to remind everyone that our free online tutoring for the upcoming semester is starting soon. So head over to studystem.org if you need help with chemistry, physics, or biology. Thank you and enjoy the video.
Question 5 of the AP Biology exam. This question talks about a study done by researchers about the influence of a plant called Ambrosia trifida or ragweed and the influence of this plant on the biodiversity of other plant species that grow in its vicinity. So for the study, the researchers took two identical plots of land. In one plot of land, they let anything that was going to grow there grow normally without any problem or without affecting its growth in any way. But in plot B, they prevented the growth of Embryosa trifida seedlings by removing any germinating seedlings in that plot. Part A of question 5 says, describe a cause of logistic growth of the ragweed population. So to cause the stable or logistic growth of ragweed population, what you would need is a limiting factor. And a limiting factor that could cause the logistic growth of the ragweed population could be the amount of space that the ragweed are getting, the amount of light that they are getting exposed to, and the amount of nutrients that they are obtaining from the soil. Part B of question 5. Based on the representation in figure 1, explain why the scientists claim that plot B would be more resilient than plot A in response to a sudden environmental change. Now, if we note the difference between plot A and plot B, we can clearly see that plot A only has two different types of species, and even out of those two types of species, one of them is present in a very small quantity. As for plot B, it has a wide variety of different species, each of which is present in numerous quantities. Now, the reason why plot B would be more resilient to a sudden environmental change is because of the wide variety of species in plot B compared to plot A. Because there are a wide variety of species in plot B, they would be able to respond to different environmental changes more appreciably and with greater resilience. Whereas for plot B, if an environmental change occurred that was not favorable to the ragweed in plot A, then all of the ragweed would die and then plot A would be left completely empty with just small quantities of one particular species left. Part C says, in a third group of plots, the researchers removed all seedlings of all plants that germinated before June 1. All plants that germinated after June 1 were left untouched. Using the template in the space provided for your response and the symbols shown, represent expected plant species that would be found 3 months later. Draw no more than 12 symbols and assume all other environmental conditions are the same. So taking into account all the conditions placed in this question, the diagram or the template that you would get would be something like this. Now in this diagram, you can see that all of these species are equally present in equal amounts. You have the Embryosa trifida, you have this particular species, and this particular species. In the question, they told us to have no more than 12 symbols, and you can see there are no more than 12 symbols, and each species has 3 plants, has 3 symbols, which represents equal amounts of each species in the template or in the plot of land. Now the reasoning for this is given in the main question. It said in the first paragraph over here that Embryosa trifida germinate from early March through the end of the summer, and for the other annual plants they require warmer soil temperatures and thus germinate from late April, which means that considering our question, they said that the plants, all the germinating seeds after June 1 were left untouched. So After June 1 is summer, and Ambryosa triphyta and other annual plants would be able to grow in that temperature because for both of them, June 1 and after June 1 up till the end of the summer is a suitable temperature. So that means all the different species of plants would be able to grow in the same capacity in this plot of land. Part D of question 5. Explain how an invasive species such as ragweed affects ecosystem biodiversity as illustrated in figure 1. So, invasive species tend to have no predators, which means that they would be able to survive without any fear of predators. And invasive species, once they have established themselves in the ecosystem, they would use up all of the resources, which means that it will be tough for other species to grow in that same ecosystem, which means that the ragweed, they would outcompete any other species that tries to develop itself in that particular vicinity where the ragweed are present. And that is how the ragweed are going to affect the ecosystem biodiversity by taking up all of the resources species, by outcompeting other species, and by dominating in the whole ecosystem and taking up everything for themselves.